Hello, and welcome to the first Final Judgment mini review before it starts airing on AMT TV. My first mini review is the 1971 Crap Fest called The Touch of Satan. It's not rated, it has graphic violence and sexual content. The plot follows a guy named Jody who is wandering the U.S. in his Maverick to find himself. All he finds is a whole bunch of trouble when he comes across this beautiful girl who has been cursed for over 100 years, and her younger sister is a homicidal lunatic. Sadly, this is one of the best Satan-related movies of the 1970s, which isn't saying that much, considering 99% of them are god-awful. I think that most devil movies of this time period was written by Satanists, and because they have bad endings, and this is no exception. All this now. Sorry, lost my place. Now, the good things. The makeup effects were pretty impressive for the time. The two lead actors, Michael Berry and M.B. Maley, did a fairly decent acting job given the limitation of the clunky dialogue they were given. I blame the writer for the clunky dialogue and the long pauses, or the director trying to pad out the film. I don't blame the stars. They did the best they could with what they had. Now, when I write a script, I sit and I see myself as the audience does. And I sit and I might think of the questions they might ask, like the ton of questions this movie refused to address. Like the younger sister was named Lucinda. Like, why did Lucinda scars get worse over the century? And why did Lucinda look every day of the 127 years that passed when Melissa, the older sister, didn't get any scars or wrinkles? She looked exactly as beautiful as she did back then. Next question. Which set of parents is her real parents? The one from the flashback 127 years ago, or the one that she's living with now? And where did they come from? Plus, why did Lucinda go on a killer? Didn't want the curse to end? If there was a way to end the curse, I think, considering her looks and her age, then she'd be the first one to want to break it. But no, she was going out of her way to make sure the curse stayed. Why? Did she enjoy looking like a reject from a Googookie play? These are kind of important questions that the writer or the filmmakers never addressed. So, with all this plus a bad ending, I have to give this movie the news. On the positive side, the acting was fairly decent, given the limitation of the clunky dialogue and the long pauses. Makeup effects. And the makeup effects were pretty impressive, given the time period. I've seen a lot worse back then. On the negative side, all these questions and more that they left open and never addressed. The clunky dialogue and pauses, just to pad out the film, only make the movie boring. And finally, even though this particular Satan movie has a better ending than practically every Satan movie of the 1970s, it's still a bad ending, and we cannot abide bad ending. It is sloppy writing, and they could have done better. So, that is our first review. Keep an eye out for 2 more reviews and announcing. And if you don't know what the news means, please refer to the video, the star scale, which is just before this one. Thank you. That was The Touch of Satan.